Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest. That's right, the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today best-selling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Magic in the Midwest podcast. I am J.B. Michaels, author of many, many books, and I'm joined here by my wife. She's not talking. Ashley Michaels. So it looks like it's just going to be a solo show for JB today.
Everyone's going to tune out.
The 98th Magic in the Midwest podcast. 98 of these mainliners. Crazy. That's absolutely crazy. All right.
We're going to start planning our party, our 100th party.
Right. 100th party podcast. Here we go. Which will be soon, so we have to really figure that out.
I would like a cake.
Okay.
I would like you to buy it.
Okay.
Chocolate wafers.
Sounds good. So, ladies and gentlemen, like all the other podcasts, we have a few sponsors. Speaking of which, one of them is MrMichaels.com. Yes, all my books, the many works of the best-selling author J.B. Michaels, award-winning books for you to look at, one of which is on pre-order right now, which is the 5th in the Mac and Millie mystery series, Raftery's Ghost. Yes, Raftery's Ghost. So please check out Raftery's Ghost. It is a really fun, very, really fun read. Once upon a dark and stormy night. So that one is good. We also have a subscription, Magic in the Midwest podcast.bandcamp.com. So please check that out as well. And then, of course, through this podcast, we've met a lot of great people. We've interacted with many people about theme parks, that which we love, and all the fun things that come with it. And one of those people is Emily. Emily at where?
Magical Mouse Travel.
Oh,
J.B.
yes.
Michaels. No. Guys, stealing my ginger ale.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're super old.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Go ahead, go.
Emily at Magical Mouse Travel.
Yes, and she's a vacation planner that specializes in Disney and Universal trips, also Disney Cruise Line, but she can book all travel for you, including like inclusive resorts and all that. And you guys, she's just awesome. We use her to book our trips. She is very knowledgeable. She'll give you tips and tricks and all the things.
She'll give you tips?
Oh, our friend tips?
Our friend tips?
I mean, hopefully she doesn't give away
tips. Yeah.
Does she know tips?
I don't know if she knows tips, but she must talk to tips.
She
probably has some tips to share.
All right. Anyways, her services are free of charge. She can send you a free customized itinerary. Why does it sound weird? Say it slowly.
Itinerary. Yes.
Is that right? Itinerary.
Yes.
Okay.
What the heck?
She can book dining for you, and how many things have I missed? A lot of things. She can do all the things.
She can do all the things.
All the things, and she's very good at it. She's also from the Midwest, but she goes to Universal and Disney often. I know she just went on a Disney cruise as well and had a really amazing time. So if you're looking to book a trip, definitely reach out to Emily. She can help you book your trip. The best way to get a hold of her is via email, emily@magicalmousetravel.com, and just let her know that the really amazing, brilliant
Magic in the Midwest podcast sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tips.
Have
you talked to Tips lately?
Tips has been ghosting me. No Tips.
Do we know who Tips is?
We don't. So don't mess with the magic. Tips.
Wait,
all right.
Wait a second. Look at this story that I posted. You were wearing a collared shirt under a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
When do you never have that look?
Why not? Why not, girl? Grr.
It was such a long time ago.
It was. So today we are going to, we are excited, you guys, because very soon we head to Universal Orlando for a quick trip right before our son goes back to school. So we decided we'd do a little getaway. He loves, he loves Universal, so we're headed there. And it's going to be very fun. We're staying at the Royal Pacific, so we'll be able to talk about our experience staying at Lowe's Royal Pacific Hotel.
I'm very excited about staying there.
Yes, which will be the first time that our family has stayed there. So it'll be very exciting.
Have you stayed there with your other family?
I have stayed there with my friends who are family. Yeah, so I guess it's not really true. But I mean, as far as the family as it currently is, which is Ashley and H and I.
What do you mean currently?
It currently is. Meaning that I've got plans for additional family.
I thought you already...
Family.
I thought you already had another family.
I do. I told you.
Oh, so you're going to add another
yes!
one? Or do you mean that we're going to have a bigger family?
Why are you so
I'm not
stupid?
having any more... No.
You going to have more babies?
No, that is closed.
No, it's not.
Closed for biz.
It is not closed.
It is 100% closed.
I'm just gonna
keep
babysitting babies, and then just
go ahead.
Eventually,
why would that change my mind?
Eventually, it'll work. No, I'm kidding. It's okay. We are very fortunate with what we have already. All right, so
shut up.
This woman has been.
I just got berated for not having another kid.
No, you did not.
You're just gonna keep babysitting other babies
until you give in.
No. I already have a baby.
Like I said, I'm very fortunate.
You are.
That's what we have.
As many people have told you, you outkicked your coverage with me and Harrison, so you're welcome.
No, they don't say Harrison. They say just you.
Well, that's definitely
makes them
true.
Totally ignorant of what really happens.
Well, that's irrelevant.
Help! Call the hotline.
Deep apes.
Deep apes.
Oh my God! Can we just get to it?
Get what?
To the podcast
to make
subject.
It a baby?
No. Nope.
Nope.
Make a baby with someone else.
All right, here we go. So we're very excited to go to Universal, and we'll give you guys all the scoop. And really excited, you guys, because we're doing things that we've never done before, which is always something really fun that we like to do, right? We always try new things when we return to
I don't.
Universal.
I like doing the same thing all the time.
Right. So we are eating at the world's greatest theme park restaurant in the world ever.
You should explain that.
Which is Mythos. So we actually have a reservation for Mythos, which I'm excited about. Which we did not, we've never eaten there, so that'll be fun to do.
Need you explain the story of why you're saying it's the greatest theme park?
Well, because forever they had a
You paying attention or looking at your phone?
No, I'm trying to get to the thing that. No, whatever. They had this banner up from 2008 or whatever. Was it 2008 or 2006 maybe? Where it said world's best theme park restaurant, theme park insider or something. And it was like a big banner and they just left it up there for literally years. So I hear that it is a good restaurant, that it's good. And we actually walked through it last time, and it's really cool inside.
Why did we walk through it? Because you thought that we could cut through somewhere,
I had to pee-pees.
And we couldn't.
And we cut through it.
Mm-mm. We ended up going to the bathroom. But you thought that we could get through
No,
somewhere.
I wanted to cut through the restaurant.
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, we did.
We did, because
So did we
were
cut through?
Forced to.
Did we cut through?
And you thought we didn't have to cut through.
That is a lie. Don't listen to her. You don't listen to her.
It's okay that you're wrong sometimes.
I am wrong. I was wrong about a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're about to say. I agree.
Oh, God.
It's only funny because it's true.
That's not true. You hate me. What?
I know, but we got to stay together just for the,
Yeah, for the podcast.
For the podcast.
For the sake of the podcast.
DVC.
Right.
We like going
Luckily,
on trips
everything's
together.
in my name, so I'm lucky.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm here. I gotta get some things
Sylvie.
added. Get
All right. So awesome. So here's the interesting thing. So we're gonna head to Mythos, which will be really cool. We'll give you the dining review of that. And what else are we doing, Ash? What else are we doing?
like when we're there?
Oh yeah, we were staying.
You already said.
You've actually never stayed at Royal Pack.
I mean, yeah, because you said you stayed there with your other family.
With my friends. What's our family?
Stop doing that. No one wants to hear it. Stop.
Letty. All right. So, Letty. All right. So here we go. Here's what we're going to talk about. So this is interesting. Okay, we are, no joke, about 3 weeks away from the first weekend of Halloween Horror Nights.
3 weeks? Oh, yeah.
3 weeks.
How many weeks?
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Oh, my gosh. Don't do it again.
3 weeks. So we are, and we only know, and I'm looking right now on the official Universal Halloween Horror Nights page. Officially on the page. Ashley's obsessed with this table.
Okay, well, my dad made it, and it's amazing, and all you do is, you and Harrison just ruin it.
Oh my, yours is ruined over here too.
If anything is ruined, it's because you sat over there.
Oh, whatever. All right, so can we get back to the podcast
Keep
without
talking.
you obsessing?
You don't have to comment on everything I'm doing. Focus on yourself.
You're right. I could be a hero, baby.
Come on.
So we only know. So I'm on the official site, and it still says 10 haunted houses. Okay, we still only know 4 of those haunted houses officially. So this is weird.
It is weird.
We have 3
they've never
weeks.
really done this. What about earlier Halloween Horror Nights? Were they always doing these drip campaigns and stuff, or is that something that's evolved?
Well, I think with social media, it's evolved, but we usually know most everything.
I mean, for how many years? Has it been a decade that we've always known every house before?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very out of the norm.
It is strange. It is strange that we only know 4 out of the 6 houses.
Okay, so do you think...
10. 4 out of the 10. So we need 6 more to know. Sorry.
4 out of the 6.
Shut up.
So do you think that something happened, they had a few things fall through, or do you think they have some big elaborate plan that we're all unaware of?
Well, we're just gonna, so just warning to all the podcast listeners, we're just going to go into full speculation mode. Yeah, I think something fell through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but normally at this point, even if it fell through, we're 3 weeks out. They would have already adjusted, figured out. I mean, the houses have to be almost...
They're done.
So they know what's in them. So what's their... Done, yeah. Are they afraid, do you think, that people won't be excited about what's in them? Or do you think they have something else up their sleeve?
Maybe they have something else up their sleeve.
What would that be, though?
And here's the other thing, too. They released the tickets, and they, so Universal knows how much they've sold. And maybe that, I hate to say it, I hope it's not the case, but maybe they know how much they've sold, and they're like, well, we don't really need to worry about it that much. We already sold.
Yeah, but people love it so much. People live for this. There are some people that really only come to Universal for this event, and they live and breathe for these updates.
So, yeah.
It's strange that they haven't said.
I don't know. So it was either an IP licensing deal fell through, or an IP licensing deal got changed, because we did get surveys released to Universal pass holders and hardcore Universal people like our buddy Katie. She got a survey that said, would you be interested in a nighttime experience with certain IP, and one of the IP was Stranger Things, and there was a few other things that were listed there too. So or it could be Universal's now trying to figure out and strategically maybe use some of the IP and licensing deals for special nights throughout the entire year. Like a Stranger Things night. Special night at Universal Studios Florida. Kind of like Disney does with Disney Villains After Dark. And
so this would have to be during the week when Horror Nights is not going on.
No, I'm saying this will be post Horror Nights. This will be like throughout the rest of the year.
Do you think people would like that?
I think people would probably go, especially probably locals would go too.
Yeah, but I feel like part of what makes those events desirable is that they only go on for short periods of time. Like Mickey's Not So Scary.
Well, it would only be
or
one
after
night.
hours.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to have it all throughout the year, I don't think.
Well,
I
I'm
think
saying
you would have it.
one night, like every season or something, special night or something of a certain IP. They might do that. I don't know.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's cool. I don't know if it'll work. You already have like this amazing event, Halloween Horror Nights. Which I don't know. To me, it's like
my only thought on it is I don't want Halloween Horror Nights to take a hit.
Right.
Right. Quality wise, creative wise, because they're also focused on this. Like they do this, they do it really well. Keep doing it really well.
Yeah. So. It's weird that it's an interesting situation. Like, so it could be that IP deals, licensing deals, things happen. I think there's also rumors about like a house that just wasn't working. Like they had a house plan and it just was not panning out the way they wanted to, so they just scrap the whole thing and start over.
Yeah, but I mean, we know that they know what's in the house now.
Yes, you're right. So there's 6 other houses.
Do you think it has anything to do with maybe doing something in islands?
That still could be the case.
I mean, I think we all want that to happen. I mean, I do. I think that would be super cool. But, and for those of you that don't know, they used to have HHN over in islands.
They used to split it between the two. There'd be a little bit in studios and then stuff in islands.
I mean, I know it costs more to be able to, run that side of the park too. But I wonder if that's part of the reason why maybe we haven't heard.
Well, in off seasons, Universal closes earlier, so like maybe that's another reason why they would do those special after dark events. Because like when we went in January, the parks were closed at 5.
Yeah.
Every night. So maybe it would be a way to generate special events to generate more attendance in those slower parts of the year. But I don't know. And so, but here's the deal. So. Again, let me just reiterate what we do know. We know that there is, we'll go, by order of when they were announced, I think. Universal Monsters Legends Collide, okay, which is you're about to get caught in the middle of an epic battle between Wolfman, Drac, and the Mummy. Then we have the 1978 Halloween, okay, that's another one. And then we've got the Horrors of Blumhouse, which will be Moments from Freaky and the Black Phone. Mm-hmm. And then the latest one, and the one that they seem to be really pushing, because I've seen like commercials on YouTube and things like that, is The Weeknd, After Hours Nightmare. So enter the macabre mind of The Weeknd in this haunted house as he stalks you through the surreal nightmare of his after hours music. So, yeah. Which I feel like it's going to be fun. I feel like it's going to be a fun house, But I gotta say, like, there is some stuff that's leaking online, like pictures of facades that they're building. Mm-hmm. And the Curse of La Llorona is one, because there is like a Mexican, like, mission-style facade that's gone up, like a church, So that could be one of the ones that they announce. But the spec map also had some interesting stuff on it, because there's on the spec map, which is usually reserved for a big house, is the prison, it was called, and it, which is called Prison. So I don't know, what that will be, but we don't know. So it'll be interesting over the next few weeks, 3 weeks, maybe he'll just not reveal anything and just have people come at the media night and reveal everything then.
When's the media night?
Usually it's like like the weekend or week before. So usually, I mean, we're
So that'll be interesting. So we'll probably know then.
Yeah, I mean, we should know, by then, I would imagine. Because, they allow the media to come in, and then the media writes reviews and gets people hyped and tweets and social media, and, people are like, oh, cool, Horror Nights. So, I don't know. Horror Nights.
Cool.
Horror Nights. And then we also got word that The Mummy is back up and in cast previews. So, people that work there can go on the ride.
So is it supposed to be like very different? I thought they were just doing like a refurb.
It's not very different. It is refurbed. From what I hear, and this is someone who posted, The Mummy refurb, this is from Universally Addicted at Universally Ad, says, so here it is. The Mummy refurb was definitely worth the months of closure. The movement of the ride is fantastic. There's been 4K restoration of all projections, and the launch tunnel has new and improved lighting. So, looks pretty awesome when it reopens very soon. And then, spoiler alert, Brendan still needs his coffee.
Oh, great.
So everyone was worried that Brendan Fraser was going to be removed because he's removed from the Universal Studios Hollywood ride.
Okay, so he's still around.
He's still around in Orlando.
Well, maybe not in the same way, but we know he's still around. Maybe in the exact same way.
It says coffee, so probably the same way.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ash. So main event, you guys. Main topic is something that has been hotly debated. Not only in our home, hotly debated, but also amongst our friends.
Takes.
And hot takes with...
Lots of hot takes.
Lots of hot takes with tips.
You guys, I put up a poll about this. Why are you laughing at me?
You put up a poll?
Not a poll, a question about this. Why is that so funny? Like, they're so wildly different. Go to hell, man.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! D papers. She told me to go to H. ELL. Okay, go ahead.
And so I asked people what they thought the worst ride at Universal was. And the answers were all over the board. All over the board. It was really funny, actually, to read some of these.
Crazy.
And some of the ones that I thought were obvious answers weren't necessarily mentioned that much. So there was not really a front runner. And it was... Why are you laughing?
No, go.
So yeah, there was... Do you want me to go over some of the ones that were listed? Well, what were some of the ones listed in the text message? Let me get up.
Yeah, let's get that thread up.
I mean, people mentioned Rip Ride Rocket, The Simpsons ride, Forbidden Journey was mentioned a few times, Hulk.
Hulk was mentioned?
You know what was never mentioned in my social media posts answers was Fast and Furious. Never.
Wow.
None of them.
That's fascinating.
Maybe people just, like, ignore it. Like, it's just sort of like, oh, that's an obvious one, so I'm not going to say it. Forbidden Journey was probably mentioned the most on social media.
Really?
Yeah.
People don't like it. They think it's the worst ride.
See, and here's the thing. Wait a minute. Don't you think, though, sometimes when people answer this question, they really more answer it...
Hot take to, like, get people...
No, in terms of, like, maybe the most disappointing for what it could be, versus, like, if you don't expect much from The Simpsons or Fast and Furious, like, you don't really look at it as the worst, because it's just sort of, like... You know what I mean?
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the most disappointing is how people were answering it in some ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I get it. I think that there are worse things than Forbidden Journey. For me personally. But I get why it's an answer.
Okay.
Because, it should be a top tier attraction. And it's kind of clunky now.
I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, let's unpack this. Let's unpack this.
There's going to be a lot of opinions about this. Everyone just remember that
these
are opinions.
People on social media, the people mentioned Forbidden Journey. Wow, that's fascinating to me. I think
that's why, though, because it's Harry Potter, they're expecting a lot, and now that you have Hagrid's, I think that now it kind of accentuates
It kind of makes me think, like, I hope that the Yucca arm technology is, like, maybe evolved and will get better, because there's rumors that the Universal Monsters attraction at Epic Universe will be like a Yucca arm type situation, which...
Well, I don't think it's the ride Vehicle. I think it's really what they chose to do with it.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So I will be on board with everyone. Let's think about Forbidden Journey. We talked about this when we went through. It is the screens are terrible. Like, it looks bad.
It does.
It looks so bad. That and I know that it's trying to stick with the movement. Like, it's done in a certain way to project and also, be moving, right, at the same time that you're moving. But it looks really bad. Okay, it just looks bad.
It does.
I know it was meant to be in 3D, before. So people always had 3D glasses on, and it, probably looked better then. But I don't know, maybe people are getting more motion sickness, so they stopped it. And there is a lot of pressure on your body, when
the arm goes up.
When the arm tilts up, and you're basically laying down, but still angles.
Go higher than that. Yeah.
You're kind of it's a weird. It is kind of janky, like you said, Ash. So I think you're right. It's in Hogwarts, and you're expecting this premiere ride, and it just doesn't deliver that.
And I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go on and on, but I think something like Hagrid's is really successful because they do their own take on something.
Yeah.
They take an aspect from the movies, the stories, and make it their own, and then make it the best it can be.
Yes.
Which is essentially doing what Tron did. Good job, everyone.
Right.
Now, Forbidden Journey seemed like this, let's take Harry Potter sort of greatest hits and try and smash it all together. And I feel like those types of attractions just don't. I think people can feel it. You're just moving from one thing to the next, and then you're playing Quidditch, and then there's the spiders, and then there's the Whomping Willow. And it's kind of cool to see all the things, but I would rather just see one thing and have them kind of make it their own. They made some interesting choices there. And I just feel like it feels... I'm not someone that goes on an attraction is looking for things to be wrong. I really do just try to enjoy it. But I feel like you can really see, when the Dementors, know what I mean? You can see the
their Ugarm
on.
That's a Ugarm that they're on.
It's just sort of it feels a little just wonky. I don't know, to me. So I get it.
Yeah. So
people have higher expectations for rides.
I guess that's true. If your expectations are high and you go all the way to Universal Orlando and you get to go to Universal and go on Harry Potter and you're in Hogwarts and you see everything leading up to it is pretty great, and you get on the ride and it's not. You're it's good, but whatever. When I first went on that ride, the very first time I got sick.
Oh, you did?
I got off the ride. I was not feeling well.
Okay.
I didn't puke, but I was not feeling well. All right. So, Ash. So that's what social media says. What do you say?
What's the answers were all over the map, to be fair.
What was your worst? What's your worst ride?
I think everybody knows. Oh my gosh. Sorry. JB just showed me something. So everyone knows how I feel about the Hogwarts Express, and I'm just going to stick with it. It's the last thing I would wait for. Honestly, the last. I think I can say that. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Because, if there's no line, I will do it. But I don't that one time we rode it, and we got off at, I don't know which way we were going. We went from Islands to Studios. When we got off the train at Studios, the line to get on to go the other way must have been, they were using every single turnstile in there. It must have been a 2-hour wait, something crazy.
Yeah.
I have, it's stupid. Don't do it. Why would you do that? It takes 8 minutes to walk to the other side.
As we speak.
It's 45 minutes. Why would you wait 45 minutes for that?
At King's Cross Station... It is 45 minutes.
Now, before you come at
me... Which King's Cross is in Diagon Alley.
So. That is just my opinion. After being on it, and I feel like I'm a pretty big Potter fan. I'm not the biggest Potter fan of all time, but I really like Harry Potter a lot, and I was very excited to see go to Universal and experience both places, both Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade there. And this was a disappointment, this ride.
Yeah.
I think the idea of it is really great, and I get if you're a huge fan and you want to do it, or if you just don't want to walk between parks. But man, that inside those cars is humid and gross, and you see out this window that definitely looks like a screen, and then you hear the shadows, like the outlines of the characters.
The screens are not great either. Yeah.
No, and it just smells like there's carpet in there. Like I said in the text message, it smells like wet farts. You're there for like 3 minutes.
This was Ashley's thread in our friend thread of Universal buddies. She said, I think we all know that Hogwarts Express is the actual worst.
It is.
She goes, I'll take slow and mildly upset, which my friends refer to Fast and Furious as supercharged, any day over cramming in a stupid box train car that smells like wet farts just to see shadows of Harry Potter characters walk by and say 3 words of dialogue. That is what she wrote about.
I stand by it.
Hogwarts Express, you guys.
It's just, I mean, I think for the experience, like the train alone, like seeing the train pull up to the station, that's probably the coolest part for me. Like once we entered the train, I was like, this is terrible. Being at the station, King's Cross and all that was cool.
Yeah.
Seeing the train. But after that, I mean, we didn't even wait that long, and I was like, I was ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
We were with 2 friends of ours, and I was being polite to them. If it was just Jim and I, I'd be like, see you later. It was not.
So, it's interesting. The Hogsmeade station is only a 20-minute wait.
Yeah, no, because we didn't wait that long. I mean, our station was not very full. I still felt like we waited a while, because it's just one train that goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And back and forth, in case you're confused.
Right.
But it was a much longer wait at the other end where we got off.
Seems like a busier day at Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We have a 85-minute wait over at Hagrid's, 90-minute wait for Gringotts, Escape from Gringotts. So, interesting indeed. 60 minutes for Harry Potter's worst ride, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
No, the Express is the worst ride.
Well, yes,
still
you're
considered
right.
Harry Potter ride.
Yeah, yes, you're correct. You're correct. So, any other rides that made it on your worst? So, you want to know my worst?
Well,
absolute worst?
Your absolute worst, yeah.
Let's do absolute worst, and then we'll just talk about the worst ones. So, my absolute worst ride that bothers me visually.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Here we go.
Bothers me visually.
You bother me visually.
It's offensive to the eye.
How many different ways are you going to say it?
It is huge, and it snakes around a huge chunk.
Oh my gosh, you guys. He's
of the park.
So ridiculous about this.
Hollywood Rip Ride Suck It. Okay, is the worst ride at Universal Studios, Florida.
I still haven't been on
the worst.
You won't do it
Universal
just once
Orlando.
for me.
It's terrible. Do you want to do it next time?
Not this time. We
I'll
can't
do it
do it
with
this
you.
time. How are we going to do it? How can you do it with me? We have Harrison.
Harrison could do it.
No, he can't. He's not tall enough.
He is.
No, he's not.
He isn't?
He's 51.
No, it's terrible. You'll hate it. You'll have a headache afterwards.
No, I won't.
You will.
No, I won't.
All right, well, we do it at HHN.
All right. You have to promise you'll do it with me.
You're going to hate it.
I do things for you.
I'll do anything for you.
All right. Well, then
do it for you.
we'll find out if you will.
Right,
you said we would last year and we didn't.
Okay. So, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, you guys. I'm not the only one who feels like this is the worst ride. Many people do, including the host. He probably thinks another one, but he also doesn't like it. Theme Park History guy doesn't like it either. It is just not it's not a pleasant ride experience. It's very, very janky, and it's just not that fun. And
I believe you. I just want to experience it one time.
Right. So Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is in my mind, the absolute worst ride. Okay, so because Ashley can't speak to it, we'll just move on to the other rides that made the list. So other people both our friends, social media, other rides that were mentioned. The one that was probably mentioned the most was Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Among our friends, yeah.
Right. So, what do you think, Ash? Like, what do you think about that being one of the worst?
So, I actually really kind of like the queue and what they've
lead
done
up.
with the pre-show and how or they're not called cast members there. They're just called, what are they called there? Employees? I like calling them cast members. I know that's a Disney thing, but whatever. The cast members there kind of have, I'm sure when it was originally written that it was supposed to be more serious, how they have these interactions with the characters and there's this whole story going on. And instead of going with that, they've sort of made a joke out of it.
It's really funny.
It is really funny.
Yeah.
So that part is like, they make fun of the everyone's family thing a lot and the whole thing.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that just because we actually like those movies. They're fun and, they're silly and you can turn your brain off and watch them and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
So the actual ride, I think, is absolutely terrible, which will explain to you how much I hate Hogwarts Express because I would choose to go on this over that anytime.
Yeah.
Yes. The story just does not make any sense at all. We're in a party bus. There's some screens around. At one point, Dom jumps out of a car and grabs onto a helicopter, and then all of a sudden he's back in the car. I don't really know what's going on. It just doesn't. They should have done something like test track or I don't know. Or
cost cutting because Earthquake was expensive.
Could have come up with something better than keeping the bus.
So just to let you guys know, Fast and Furious Supercharged took the place of originally when the park opened in 1990. It was Earthquake. Then later they remodeled Earthquake, called it Disaster, and The Rock was the host of the Disaster ride. Okay, then after Disaster, they closed it down, shut it down for a while, and became Fast and Furious Supercharged. And it's just like a bus ride through a dark tunnel with a screen, some screens.
Okay, so I know you're not going to like this opinion. I am not a big fan of this type of ride vehicle for any kind of ride.
The big bus.
It's the reason why I just don't think Kong is as effective as it could be.
Yeah.
Just because you're sitting in this giant
if you
bus,
were in a smaller open
and you're just looking to the left and looking to the right, looking to the left and looking to the right. And I also just don't think that those ride vehicles are super effective in those types of rides.
Yeah.
It's different like on the safari, for example, because you're actually
looking at animals
outside and you're just trying to get as many people through as you can. But I really like Kong, but I don't like that part. It just doesn't really make any sense to me. They could have come up with something else and not relied on screen so much.
So Universal's strategy, I think, after Diagon Alley opened, they still needed to get people into the park. So for a while there, Universal was churning a new attraction every year, like promising a brand new attraction every year. Well, it makes sense that they virtually built buses for Fast and Furious and buses for Kong and sort of built out similar rides that didn't take very long to develop. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or probably that much money to develop either. And kind of let's do it. Let's crank these out. Let's get these open to get people here, Yeah. So, Velocicoaster is obviously not that. Velocicoaster is the newest ride. Are we going to get a new ride in 2023? I don't know. Because we didn't get one in 2022.
Oh, we didn't?
Because Velocicoaster opened June of 2021.
Okay.
So, we didn't get a new attraction this year, which is interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't. Because they're building a whole new theme park soon. So yeah, you can kind of tell, Ash, I think you're right. It's maybe not the best sort of ride if you're going to put screens everywhere.
Yeah.
Ride system.
And I feel like Studios overall holds more of these rides. Like when I was sitting down the other day, Harrison and I actually made a list of all the rides in Islands and all the rides in Studios. And I was actually surprised that there's actually almost the same amount in each park.
Yeah.
So I think Islands has a stronger lineup. Like, there's not as many rides where you're like, oh, that's
but there's Spider-Man and Hulk and...
Well, I know there's not as many rides that make the list of being bad.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I think they're all... The list is stronger.
Yeah.
And over at Studios, I feel like you have the Jimmy Fallon ride, you have Simpsons.
Which we've never even been on.
You have Fast and Furious, you have Rip Ride Rocket, you have, Men in Black.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rides over there that are just sort of like, ugh. Like, there's so much space that they could do other things with. Like, I really wish they would bring back Jaws, and I know it was expensive, but...
Wouldn't it be cool if Universal...
I mean, they have Mummy, which is great.
With the Fear Factor stage that's huge, that whole area, wouldn't it be cool if they did, like, a greatest hits
that
ride?
Would be cool.
I mean, that, to me, which we've talked about this before, that's a pipe dream. Imagine that, like, doing a tram tour type of thing, right? And having Jaws and Back to the Future and all the things that they shut down. You know,
I just wish that, like, Simpsons is not a ride for me that I think is super great. Like, it doesn't look very good. And
it's showing its age. They need to read up the...
Yeah,
the
I just wish, I mean, I know
projection.
some people love Simpsons, and I wish they would leave the Duff Beer thing, the brewery, and kind of get rid of everything else.
This reminds me. So Universal has a official podcast now called Discover Universal. And they were talking about Universal Studios Florida. There's 2 hosts, and they did it sort of like, I mean, basically sounded a lot like the Magic of the Midwest podcast. They must listen to us. So
They must.
They must. So the woman host said what she does on her itinerary, and the male host says what he does on his itinerary, and they go through the park, a typical day that they would have at Universal Studios Florida. Well, neither of them went into any depth about The Simpsons, the area, Springfield, or the ride, really.
Yeah, I just
Isn't that weird? And I'm wondering why. Because I'm sure Disney, because Disney now owns The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. Like, are they planning on just, like, getting rid of The Simpsons eventually? Or does Disney have some sort of deal they can rescind and take The Simpsons back?
I wish that they could just get rid of... I mean, I just don't think the ride is super great. You could leave the ride vehicle, and I think you just
put
change
Back
it
to the
back,
Future.
Back to the Future
Oh
back
my God,
there.
do you know how many people would flip
and do like
out?
a really cool video, and you could leave everything else the same. Just...
Oh my God, people would lose it.
I think they would.
If
I don't
Back to the Future.
Why? Like, we're at a point now where nostalgia is like this. You know, like, people always love. Like, people love watching Stranger Things. Why? Is that going back to the 80s, whatever?
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to bring something back. Like, everyone would love that.
Yeah.
If you did that and you did it right.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a great move. But there's so many rides over on that side that are just sort of like...
Universal spent a decent amount on... Well, the ride was there for a long time, and then they built the Springfield part later. So, like, there's lots of good places to eat over there.
I mean, you could even leave that if you really wanted to and just change the ride. And then you could have a Simpsons little area.
Yeah. So it's like a big kind of footprint of studios that the official podcast of Universal didn't really even talk about.
Well, and we waited in the line, and we actually waited a decent... I mean, the line did not move. It's one of those rides, because the ride vehicle, just the line can't move really that fast.
Yeah.
And I was expecting a little bit more from it. I was sort of like, man, I never have to do that again.
So be on the lookout, you guys, for maybe the Simpsons area in Springfield maybe getting shut down eventually. I don't think it's going to last that much longer. So we'll see. We'll see. Just like I don't think Aerosmith is going to be lasting that much longer at Rockin', which I know is sad, but... Okay, so...
Or Dinosaur.
So Fast and Furious is one of the rides on the worst list. Okay, and then another ride that came up in our conversations with our friends was Men in Black Alien Attack. Mm-hmm. I don't like the ride. I don't like Fast and Furious that much either. I like the queue. I like the funniness of it. Men in Black...
Looking at the cars is cool.
Men in Black is...
It's a big waste of a giant
very
warehouse.
big show building.
They could have done like almost anything else besides what they did.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot you could do with Men in Black.
Universal Creative.
Yeah. And Men in Black is not even a Universal film. It's a Columbia Pictures film.
So what are some Universal films that would maybe make good attractions that are not featured at all in the parks? Besides Jaws.
How to Train Your Dragon. But they're doing that over at...
Right. Okay,
they're doing that over at Epic Universe.
Probably some sort of Flight of Passage thing.
I mean, well, I'll be honest, they could do a better Fast and Furious ride.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying they all should go away, but yeah, they could have done almost anything else.
There's a lot of really...
If you could do anything and money wasn't an issue, what kind of attraction would you do for Fast and Furious?
I mean, I would do a test track type of thing. Who cares? It's all there. I mean, who cares? People like to get in a fast car and drive. You know what I mean? And make it seem like you're driving it. You know what I mean? Like, give you the illusion of control and make it seem like you're driving. You know what I mean? That would be fun.
Yeah.
Or some, crazy stunt thing, I don't know. Like, Fast and Furious is just, could be so much better. Like, they could build out. That franchise is huge. It's still huge. And I think they could do Jaws again. They could do something with Jaws. Maybe it doesn't have to be a water ride. It could be something else. I don't know. Do something with Jaws.
I know water rides are expensive, but I oftentimes feel like they're the most creative and immersive. And
right.
I like Jurassic Park River Adventure.
Yeah.
Great ride.
It's great. So there are huge things that they could do. So I don't know. But Men in Black is one of the worst on the list. And then were there any other rides that people mentioned?
I actually think you could just do an indoor roller coaster for Fast and Furious.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of, I'm almost thinking Rock and Roller Coaster, do some sort of pre-show where you have to meet them.
Yeah.
Or get across town or something like that.
Yeah.
And then do an original thing. That's why you're not trying to follow an exact scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Do your own thing with it.
Yeah.
That way you have more freedom and you can do more things. I think an indoor roller coaster would be really cool.
Right. Yeah, there's lots of fun things they could do with Fast and Furious. That's for sure.
So that's thrills.
Thrillies.
Do that.
Thrillies. Yes. So, were there any other ones? I know some people really hate E.T., and you'll never hear us say that.
Those people can just
love it. And yes, E.T., you guys...
Maybe go check to see if you have a soul.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that.
No.
Even
though the end of it's kind of wackadoo, it's a little weird.
Yeah. The Green Planet.
It's very strange.
Welcome home.
I can't help but like it.
Home. Yeah, I know. It's but whatever. Spielberg sort of built this park, so we can't get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, he helped really develop.
See, and Men in Black, in my mind, I'm having ideas, should be kind of like Star Tours. Okay,
yeah, that'd be more fun.
That'd be something like that.
Do different things, like a simulator with different outcomes.
Or like Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. There's lots of things they could do. Lots of great movies. All right. So, So the worst list is Forbidden Journey, which people on social media were saying. Apparently the majority said that.
It's hard to say the majority because, I think every ride was maybe mentioned one time.
Yeah. Really?
It was all over the map.
Really?
Yeah, it was all over the map.
That's crazy. Rip Ride Rocket, definitely not for me.
I think, I'll be honest, I think they missed the mark.
Jimmy Fallon.
Gringotts, too. Gringotts is not what it could be. I think
Jimmy Fallon, was that on the list? Did people?
I don't know if anyone mentioned it, but I think that's
it's so bad. Nobody even goes on.
That's what I mean. I think they just Fast and Furious, Jimmy Fallon. I think that just people don't think about them, so that's why they're not mentioned.
Yeah. So interesting indeed. So, Men in Black and Fast and Furious. Those are the ones that seem to get the most hate, I guess, right?
Yeah, we're not missing anything, right?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean...
Just like no one's going to mention, like, Seuss Trolley.
Yeah, does anybody talk about...
different expectations for what that is.
Cat in the Hat? Like, do people like that?
No, someone did say Dudley Do-Rights, though.
Dudley Do-Rights?
Mm-hmm. Someone said Velocicoaster.
Okay,
Someone said Hulk. Did I say that already?
Yeah. I get why people would say Dudley Do-Rights because it's
just too much
janky.
Water.
It's janky. Well, it's a lot of, like... They need to, like... I don't know. I guess... They're not really... They're not animatronics. So they're not trying to be animatronic. Like, they're more animatic. Like, they kind of really do, like, very crude motions, the characters. And that's sort of how the animation was of Dudley Do-Right anyway. The show was crude. So, cheap animation. I can understand why people might not like it. Because it doesn't... There's not a... Like, Splash Mountain has, like, multiple drops and, like, multiple show scenes and different things. Dudley Do-Rights has some of that, but not all of it. It's okay. Yeah, I could see where people would be like, this guy that, like, looks pretty bad. So, yeah, interesting. That's interesting. I didn't even think about Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. Ripsaw Falls.
No one said Spider-Man or Transformers.
Well, good. Because they shouldn't.
Or Minions. I don't think Minions was mentioned.
It's too beloved at the moment. Minions is just blowing up. It's just... Minions are going to be around for a long time.
Even though some of the movies aren't the greatest, I mean, they're okay.
The Minions, the first Minions movie was not good.
And Despicable Me 2 is good.
They're fantastic.
3 is okay-ish. Minions is... it's
like,
better than a lot of other movies, but it's not their strongest movie.
Yeah.
But I think the Minions themselves, like the actual characters, people love the Minions.
Yes. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So, interesting podcast. We will keep you informed as to how our Royal Pack trip goes. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Deezer, wherever YouTube, like and subscribe, listen. Thank you very much. And if you want to go on a trip, please reach out to Emily at magicalmousetravel.com. Tell her that Magic in the Midwest, JB and Ash, sent you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from the Midwest. See you later.